Welcome back to the Sovereign Ratio. Today we're going to look at a very promising project for the next bull run that is a smart contract solution for the Bitcoin blockchain. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, and leave me a comment below. Alright, so first on the tokenomics of STX, it is ranked number 47 on CoinMarketCap with a market cap of $888 million and some change, a circulating supply of 1.4 billion tokens, a total supply of 1.35 billion tokens, a max supply of 1.8 billion tokens, and a fully diluted market cap of 1,163 million. So its fully diluted market cap is not too terribly far off from its market cap, which is reflected by its current ranking of number 47. Because STX has come up so much in its total ranking and total market cap, it's not one of those tokens that has as much potential as a lower ranked altcoin. STX has kind of come up to a higher ranking on the total market cap without a whole lot of exposure. You don't hear a lot of people going around talking about STX. If you watch bigger YouTube channels that talk about crypto and altcoins, you don't hear a lot of people talk about STX. It is starting to come into the forefront though, just simply because of how it runs with Bitcoin. So keep that in mind. STX is available in a wide variety of places, including Binance, KuCoin, which is no longer available to US customers. We did a video on that a couple days ago. Coinbase, Kraken, and most major exchanges. I'm sure it's on Uniswap and everywhere else as well. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but if you can't find it in one of those, you probably don't know what you're doing. Just kidding. Maybe you do. So before we go any further, I think it's probably important to figure out what STX is. So I've pulled up STX 101, and I'm going to simply read the important parts to you. STX is a Bitcoin layer that enables decentralized apps and smart contracts on the Bitcoin blockchain. STX is a blockchain linked to Bitcoin by its consensus mechanism that spans the two chains called proof of transfer. This enables STX to leverage Bitcoin security and enables STX apps to use Bitcoin state. Like Bitcoin, STX is a decentralized network. There are many individuals and companies from all over the world that contribute to and build on STX. What makes STX unique? Well, it extends Bitcoin with new functionality. Bitcoin is STX's secure and robust layer where all transactions are settled, and STX adds complex apps and smart contracts. STX apps can interact with Bitcoin state, so you can have an app that uses Bitcoin as its currency. Why Bitcoin? Well, I think you should probably already know that. Bitcoin's secure, it's decentralized, and will most likely be our future secured store of value. So two good things about STX right off the bat. One, the proof of transfer mechanism does not add any additional environmental impact to the Bitcoin network on top of its existing proof of work consensus mechanism. The other half of proof of transfer is called stacking, which simply allows people that hold STX to earn Bitcoin for holding STX. Not to mention, there are a lot of people that think Bitcoin is an old technology, even though it's 13 years old, because other platforms have come out like Ethereum, Solana, Polkadot, and just Cardano, and a slew of others that promise all of this functionality, but really are just in the early development stages of actually delivering on any of that. A lot of the supporters of those projects, which a lot of those are good projects, but a lot of supporters of those projects kind of look at Bitcoin as it's kind of a granddad type of cryptocurrency. Well, STX does eliminate some of that with adding additional functionality similar to that of one of those other smart contract platforms. All right, so let's look at a little STX TA. First thing, I don't always leave all the indicators on for you guys that are watching, but today I did, simply because there's something important that's happening right now. STX on the weekly chart is holding the bottom of the bull market support band, and it's had a small little wick and is currently trying to get right back into the bull market support band. If Bitcoin does take off right now and breaks around $30,300, continued momentum to the upside, STX could have a very, very big move. So it's important to note right off the jump that STX is holding its bull market support band quite well. So taking off those indicators and kind of looking at a more basic chart, I just wanted to make a note here. In the previous bull run in October of 2021, STX did reach a valuation of $3.36 before it really had any true groundwork laid for it as it does now. In this bear market, we have seen some pretty positive things from STX, and what happened from that was a run from 20 cents to $1.31 It ran very hard while Bitcoin ran, and that makes a lot of sense because Bitcoin doubled its price. Stacks is a solution on the Bitcoin blockchain, so it would only make sense that if Bitcoin runs its subsidiaries, which would be like Badger and Sovereign and Stacks. Sovereign's a good name, by the way. Anyway, Stacks runs up with it at the same time. It actually ran up 550% in the bear market, which is absolutely sensational. So we've been looking at Total 3 a lot on this channel, and I do think that Total 3 has a 30 to 40% correction ahead of it, but at this point I'm not sure that that's going to be anytime soon based off of what I'm seeing in the market, especially with XRP being not deemed a security and this altcoin move that we're seeing all of a sudden. I'm not sure that we're going to get that 30 to 40% correction right now. So instead of pulling out a retracement tool and just kind of looking to see what it would be, like 30 or 40%, what I'm going to say is look at Stacks. After a big Bitcoin correction, look at Stacks 30 to 40% down from its price valuation at that point to kind of see if you could find an entry. For me, what I'm looking at right now, I'm just going to pull up the FRVP for Stacks, and that can glean us some good information as far as what to expect. So we pull this up. Let's go to the bottom. Actually, you know what? Let's just go to this point right here, all the way to current. You're going to see we have some confluence here at 74 cents, which is just above us. If Stacks were to break up 74 cents, you could see a decent sized move. If it were to break that and kind of bounce off of that and hold that as support, you could see Stacks come up here to potentially $1.75 or so, because that is where the next big resistance level is for Stacks, right there. On the contrary, if Bitcoin were to correct big from here, which again, I'm not a bull or a bear, I just go off of data and I try to make the best decisions I can, so I'm not trying to shill Stacks to go up in a bull run. I'm not really sure what's going to happen. But if it were to go down 30 or 40%, I said earlier, we're not going to look at it. We are going to look at it. 30% down is at 43 cents. 40% down is at 38 cents. And right here, you can see at that 38 cent area or just below, we do have a line of interest here at 35 cents. 35 cents, I think, would be an excellent buying opportunity for Stacks. So do keep an eye out on that level. This isn't financial advice, but if you're coming up with your own data, you're coming up with your own plan for whatever reason, for me personally, 35 cents is an area of interest for Stacks. So let's go ahead and pull out a reverse fib here to see what we're looking at for potential next bull run, which I do think this is a strong contender in the next bull run, as are all of the tokens that I'm putting in this kind of series as far as why you should consider putting these in your altcoin bag. So back to all-time high, you see all-time highs there at $3.40. The 1618 is at $5.37. The 2618 is at $8.57. I'm not going to rule out the 2618, but that is a very significant jump from here, and I don't think it's realistic or really a good idea to plan on in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Personally, I think previous all-time highs should be the goal of the next bull run, and just be happy if it does anything more than that. So from current valuation here up to previous all-time high, you're looking at a 4 to 5x. To the 1618, you're looking at a 7.5x. To the 2618, you're looking at a 12x, which again, that's not crazy. If we were to see a big run up to 857, 12x, that's pretty reasonable in my opinion, considering the market position of Stacks in relation to the other altcoins right now. I would say do keep in mind though that if Stacks, if it were to catch a big bid, you see there's a golden pocket here between 217 and 228. I would expect a pretty decent correction from that point just because it's the golden pocket. That is typically a level where people start either making decisions about buying or selling. And in the case of a reverse fib, that would be a resistance area. The last thing I do want to note on Stacks is I went ahead and cleared the chart and I kind of drew this long resistance line that we've had all the way since October of 2021. And I was a little generous on it. Normally I use the wicks as the resistance point, but in this case I used a combination of wicks and candle closes. You can see Stacks is knocking right on the door of breaking out of this trend line. And also we have a very interesting potential cup and handle forming here. I don't know if you can see that, but that is there. There's the cup. There's the handle. If we were to break out of something like that, let's kind of just, I'm going to delete that off real quick. Grab a trend line. Let's make the top of the cup, which you can clearly see is right there at $1.32. Then we take another trend line from that to down here. Pull that up to the breakout. The breakout would be here if it were. The target's 247, which again is pretty close to being in line with that golden pocket here. So that 225 area is a really big level of interest for me for Stacks. for a long-term spot buy and sell situation. As far as other indicators, we do have the RSI just hanging around the level 50, which is insignificant. However, on the ultimate stochastic, we do have the K significantly crossing up the D line with speed. The green bar here indicates that the K is moving much faster than the D, which again is a sign for positive momentum in whichever direction the stochastic is facing. In this case, it is facing up. And we have the RSI here looking to reclaim its trend line, which again would lead me to believe that it's going to move up. So if Bitcoin does move up here from here, I would think there's a big move for Stacks potentially in the work too. So I hope you enjoyed this look at Stacks, a very promising project on the Bitcoin blockchain. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, and leave me a comment below, and we will see you in the next video. Safe trading.